Hey everyone. Um, I have shared lots of Halloween cards. I've made a ton this season. Most of them, of course, are with the Bag of Bones, Them Bones Suite, which is the skeletons. And I've made tons with the glow in the dark paper, which is awesome. And I did some also with the tricks and treats. So, but the last card I showed you, which was the stacked pumpkins, that was with the pick of the patch stamp set, and that's it right here. And then there's a punch that goes with it that can punch out these two right here. And so I decided I wanted to try and make some more Halloween cards with that. And this is one right here. And this does have the glow in the dark on it. I've used the glow in the dark on Christmas cards and obviously Halloween cards. And so I wanted to show another one to you and how I did all this. It's pretty easy. But why I wanted to do the video is because I wanted to show you that I used paper and some dies that you don't look at them and think of Halloween, but I used it for a Halloween card. Okay, so we're going to get started on that. I'm going to show you start to finish. Pretty easy card. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how I did the trees. The tree die, it is not really a tree die, it is like a frame. This is the aspen dies. And, well, here I can show you. When you die cut it, it does it like this. Okay, and you could do another Halloween card with this, just like as it is. You could do a sunset background behind it. It would be really cool. But I wanted just the trees. Okay, so what we're gonna do is this. This is what I just showed you, that die, but we're gonna do it again. Just got my basic black here. It's funny, basic black never gets used more than during Halloween. That is for sure. Okay. All right. Move this off to the side because we're going to use it for one other thing. All right, so that's how it does it, like that. So obviously if you're doing it you're going to use the whole thing, you'd want your paper to be the size that you want on the front of your card, obviously, before you die cut it. All right, so what I used was just the ones here on the left. And you're just gonna cut the edges off because you want them to be freestanding. When I was making the card, I wanted trees on the side, and so I was looking through all my dies and I just couldn't find one. And then I thought, I bet I could do this with the aspen dies. Okay, so there we go. There's our trees. All right. All right, and now we're going to get out the glow-in-the-dark paper. I have used it. This was one full set, and this is all I got left, but I did buy another one because I really like it. And you can see there's one of my skeletons right there. And then there's the bike and the skateboard. It was a card I showed a little while ago where it's a skeleton on a bike and a skeleton, a cat and dog are on the skateboard. So pretty cute. All right. Okay, if you saw my video, I did a video on the glow-in-the-dark paper and different ways to use it, to stamp on it with different, obviously, with regular colors, StazOn, and Versamark. So we're doing the StazOn and the regular colors on this card. Also, what we're gonna do is for the moon up there, I'm using the 1 3/4 punch. Okay, so there's part of ours. I don't use, you can see on my card, I didn't want the whole thing to show. And so then since this is a punch, and you guys probably know this, I want to stamp my stuff so that when I put this in there, I can punch it easy without having to cut it, if you get what I'm saying. All right, so all the stamps on this card are with the Pick of the Patch, and I do have a PDF for Pick of the Patch, and I'll show you those cards at the end of this video. And I'll also show you this in, when it's dark. It's not dark right now, so, and I have a window right next to my place where I do the videos, although it is supposed to rain for the next 3 days, so it's not really sunny, but it's still somewhat sunny. Okay, so I'm using, this is Cajun Craze, and like I said before, the colors that when you do it on the glow in the dark, they don't show up as dark or bright as they would on basic white. Okay, I'm using my embossing buddy because I am going to, after I stamp it, I'm gonna put some clear embossing powder on there just to help it dry. And again, if you watched my video, you would know what I'm talking about. Okay, so there's our little one. Then well, oh, I don't think I put embossing powder or the embossing buddy powder over here. All right. Okay. All right, so here's my clear embossing powder. Like I said on my glow in the dark video, the embossing powder really, really likes to stick to the glow in the dark paper. When you're using clear, it's not that big a deal because you're not going to really see it. But when, like for my skeletons, if they were black embossing powder or silver embossing powder, you definitely would see it. So that's why I use the embossing buddy, which I use the embossing buddy on anything I'm heat embossing, especially here in Florida with the humidity, which it is October, so our humidity has gone down, which is great, but we have intense humidity. Okay. All right, let that dry for a second. The bird, which the crow, he is with StazOn. Well, I'll do that in a minute. All right, let's punch these out. Punches are great. Obviously, for me, punches are great for classes. Oh, I should have done that on the bottom. Because they're easier to use for a class, you know. Let's see if I can get it. Well, it's easier to use in a class than a die because it's a little faster. The thing with punches, as you see, you like a die, you can die cut anywhere on a paper. With a punch, you got to have room for it to fit into the punch. All right, so there's our pumpkins. All right, now the bird, he's fussy cut, so some people ask, like, how do you clean StazOn from photopolymer stamps? Because I guess there is a, some people say because we have a StazOn cleaner, and some people say that can hurt photopolymer stamps. But I don't know. I mean, sometimes I just use the StazOn cleaner. Sometimes I just use the regular cleaner we have. So, I mean, you know, it's not something that I do all the time, every day or anything like that. So, you know, I don't think a few times is going to hurt anything. All right. So, and then the Happy Halloween, it is obviously with Versamark and then copper embossing powder. And then I die cut it with the Stylish Shapes. I'll show it to you. I'm not going to show you doing that. And then, no, I'm sorry. It's with the Nested Essential. Well, okay, let me go figure this out and then I'll come back and we'll start putting this together. Okay, it is with the Nested dies. It was with this one here. So, and we're not, you could do this on the glow in the dark paper, but I wanted it to be black just to kind of coordinate with the trees and stuff. All that on there is from my embossing buddy. Okay, let that dry. Not that it takes very long for embossing powder to dry, but I have, and probably some of you have done this too. The second it's done, I touch it and it smears it. So I've learned just to set it aside and figure that out and do whatever you need to do after it's dried. Okay. All right. Okay, yeah, so the Nested Essentials, what I just die cut this with, this is new in the annual catalog, and they're really good. I use them quite a bit. I love these somewhat almost like a rectangle, but with rounded corners. I really like that. I've used that a ton. So, all right, let's... His feet, I don't worry about too much because I have him kind of, his feet are behind the pumpkins. He's not that hard to cut. I think in my last video, you could hear a crow outside of my window. We get crows around here. I don't know if any of you have watched Game of Thrones, but I have. And every time I hear a crow, that's what I think of. All right, so there's our little bird. Okay, so we got, I think, everything ready to go. Our trees, our pumpkin. Oh, I gotta do the stems on the pumpkin. And there, clean off the dust from the embossing buddy. And our moon. Okay, let's punch the stems and then we'll assemble this card. All right. When I bring out my paper, you can, all the different things that I've done. Look at all of this stems for the pumpkins I've done with this. Now I'm gonna do 2 more. And you only need 2 because your bird sits on top of the other one. Okay. All right. Okay, I shared this in the last video, and this is something, and I have a link to it if on my website. If you go to shop and you go to must-haves for crafting or must-haves for your stamp room or crafting room, this is one of them. It is a vacuum, and I mean, I love this thing. I mean, it's really, really cool. It's from Amazon. I am an Amazon affiliate, so obviously if you click on it and you buy it, I get a little commission from it. You don't pay anything different for anything like that, but I just have a ton of stuff with them, and I decided I wanted to share some of that stuff with you. But that little vacuum thing, that has changed everything in here, especially when I use embossing powder, which that will pick up. But you saw all that little shrapnel from die cutting and punching and stuff, and it picks it all up. Very nice. Okay, so the background paper that we're using, this one's going to be a little different because this is from the Stargazing, which is the astronauts stuff that's in the main catalog, the annual catalog. And it has all this background paper, which I've done a ton of cards with the astronauts, and I do have a PDF for that too. But this paper, this star paper, there's several of them. I don't have a whole lot of this left, but there's like that. And then the one we're using right now is this. But see, it's so different. It's like, it's so cool looking, but I'm using it, the darker parts of it. And there's all kinds of stars background. And the card I'm making today, this morning, I'm using that paper. It's not the same one as this, but it is a Christmas card. Okay, so I'll share that soon. All right, so this one has a little more purple in it, so it's gonna look a little different. This is basic black. It was 4 inches by 1 1/4, and with the borders dies, this one right here, which I use on so many cards. That's how I made that. And I'm gonna keep that, the light part up at the top. So this is gonna look a little different than this one, but all the elements will be the same, but the background's gonna be a little different. Okay, so there's our hill. And then these, cut off some more of the, it probably would have been better if I had put this on adhesive sheets, but most of it is easy to put glue on. There's just some parts that are got some skinny little parts, but it's still not too bad. With stuff like this, I always like to have glue on the outside because that helps it stay down. You obviously want some glue on the inside too, but if you have just glue on the inside but nothing on the outside, they're going to stick up, and that could eventually tear off from the whole thing could tear off from the card. Okay, I think I got it all. And you want it, oh, I didn't put glue on there, but it's still, okay, there we go. I'm gonna have to pull this up a little bit. Should have put these down first. Okay, mistake made, so now you know. Oh my gosh. It's gonna tear my paper, but that's okay because you're not gonna see it. Okay. Not going in order here. All right, gotta put the moon down first. All right, and I'm not putting them all the way on there. I'm letting some of it hang off, and I'm gonna cut that off. All right. Okay, there we go. Pretty cool. All right. Isn't that cool? I kind of like this one better with more purple because, I mean, purple obviously is Halloween. All right. No dimensionals on this card. I've made several cards lately that I don't have any dimensionals on, which is kind of unusual for me. All right. Put the one on the right, I'll put that one down first. All the way at the edge. And then the middle one. Okay. Get my big block and just put that on top of there to get it to stay down and let the glue dry a bit. Okay. I use the big block all the time to put glue down and to help it flatten it. All right, so and then this one, these are teeny tiny too. Okay, and our bird. put the block back on top of there. All right, then our sentiment. Okay. All right, so my card base is basic black, 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5.5. And so anytime I do, anytime I do a black card base, I have a piece of white. This is 4 by 5 1/4, and I glue it in the middle because obviously it's hard to write on black. I mean, if you have like a silver pen or something, you could do that, but okay, let's see. All right. See, and there's the, see, I'm gonna have to put glue back on here because I had to pull it up because I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. All right, see the background, that's more spacey that you would use for your astronauts. It's really one of the prettiest papers I've ever seen. And you obviously, I found ways to use it for tons of stuff. And not always with astronauts. All right, look at that. A little different because the paper's a little different. I kind of like this one better. Really cool. But they're both cool. I just wanted to make something that was, you know, obviously with Halloween cards, it's nighttime, it's, you know, that kind of stuff. So, all right. So besides those, I told you I do have a PDF for the Pick of the Patch. And these cards, I'm going to show them to you. These cards, each one has a different sentiment. There's one for Halloween and then there's other ones. So what's nice about this is you can use this for lots of different cards, and all the sentiments on these cards are from Pick of the Patch. You can see it's got Harvest of Blessings, you're the pick of the patch, Happy Halloween, thanks so much, Cutie Pie. So all of these use that. All right, so there's my thanks so much, Happy Halloween, Pick of the Patch, and a Harvest of Blessings. So those are my Pick of the Patch PDF. You can see that with all my other PDFs. If you click shop under menu, if you're on your phone, click menu and then hit shop, you'll see PDF tutorials and you'll see all of them. If you're on a computer, you'll just see shop at the top and just click it and you'll see PDF tutorials. So okay, so I had this sitting around and I was like, I want to make a video of it because it's, the main thing I wanted to share and show you is that you can use paper that is not meant for Halloween cards. You can use it for, as I said, this is obviously, I'm sorry, the paper, you don't have to use it for astronaut cards. You can use it for Halloween cards. You wouldn't think of that. And a Christmas card that I just made this morning that I will share soon. So, just got to think of it a little different, you know, just think of it just as a background, not that it's not space. So anyway, if you have any questions, let me know. I hope everyone's having a great day and I'll see you soon.